Concussion protocols have been a massive story this season, but there is a big twist on it tonight. You've spoken to the AFL Doctors Association, and they want some big change. What can you tell us?
Yeah, so Jay, obviously 3 clubs received the please explain from the AFL yesterday: Adelaide, Carlton and Essendon. And the AFL Doctors Association tonight, through their president Barry Rigby, he's calling for the banning of on-field HIAs, head injury assessments.
This is
so
big.
That's a big shift.
Big story.
Yep.
That's been what's caused so much outrage this season. We remember back to Jeremy Cameron, some incidents on the weekend.
Rowan Marshall.
So
absolutely.
he says it is basically impossible for a club doctor to get out there, track down a player, pull him off the field and try and pull him off the field, let alone to conduct it on the field. So he wants a significant change.
Yep.
He wants both the club doctors and the independent concussion spotter that sits in ARC to have direct access to the field umpires, where they can send a notification to the field umpire to say stop the play, like the blood rule.
Yep.
We want player 10 off the field for a mandatory HIA.
So this is a significant shift. There's
Yep.
no more in-play assessments on field. They want to pull them from the play, general play, take them to interchange dugout where they can do a proper assessment. So this is a seismic shift, I think, in the concussion story. Can you tell us how it works with the ARC and the text messages or the alerts to the club dugout at the moment? There is a bit of confusion there. Can you straighten that up for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically the ARC has the ability to send 2 different sorts of text messages to the club doctor that arrives on their mobile phone or the tablet. The first one is clear cut. Player 10 has category 1 symptoms of concussion. You must pull him off the ground and do a SCAT 6.
Yep.
Usually the clubs are already over those incidents anyway. They can see them clear as day.
But it's clear.
Text message 2 is causing issues for club doctors. That is, player 10 looked a little bit vague on the face after that contest. Can you go and assess him? This is the one the club doctors don't love, because they've then got to sit down on the interchange bench, rewind on that wretched monitor, as Barry Rigby called it, go back, find the footage, and then go on the field, try and find a break in play, locate the player, try and get him off the ground if he'll come.
I'm exhausted listening to
Meanwhile,
that.
as that's going on, ACLs are happening, hamstrings are happening, players are getting knocked over, they're getting battered and bruised. There's real-time injuries that they're missing, but they have to sit there on the bench and rewind through the vision because they've got a message from the ARC.
It's big, Sammy, because the AFL has previously said that that it's okay to assess players in play and on the field, where clearly now the AFL Doctors Association is saying that's got to stop, right? There's got to be a proper assessment on the bench, because the current situation is unfair. It is unfair on the doctors to be able to do a concussion assessment, in play. It's difficult at the best of times. There's a lot that we don't know about concussion, so I welcome this. I think this will make a lot of people at AFL House really sit up straight, because it's, to me, being a club doctor is just about the hardest job in football.
No doubt.
At the moment, if we're going to be serious about concussion, Macca, the players will be taken from the field, and the players have got to listen. If the doctor taps you on the shoulder and says, come off,
are you serious?
You've got to be taken off. I don't want the Jeremy Cameron thumbs up or the Rowan Marshall, she'll be right. If we're going to take concussion seriously, you've got to listen to the doctor. Come from the field.
They don't, though.
Quickly.
This is the problem. Are you kidding me? We can't trust the players to do that. They don't do it. We've seen it in so many different incidents that, they haven't been able to do that. We can't trust them. They're natural competitors out there. They want to stay out there. They're not thinking about 10 years down the track. They're thinking about the next 10 minutes.
The moment.
We've got to take it. I think this is a great move. Long overdue and should happen.
You want the stop play. You want the umpires to say stop play.
It's become that big an issue in footy. We need to stop play. We need to do it the right way, because at the moment it's a complete dog's breakfast.
And that's what Dr. Barry Rigby said again. He said that when you go out there, players say, "Go away, I am fine."
That's what they do.
The lived
Which
experience.
is poor on the players.
It is,
right? If it's their future, it is their brains. If they are serious about it, like we hear them say on AFL 360 every week, then they have to listen. What about the independent doctor situation?
That's the other big shift as well. So the AFL Doctors Association would welcome independent doctors, basically an independent AFL-appointed doctor to sit on the bench and consult with concussion. There is one proviso. They would welcome this move, but they would only sign off on it if they had final say on removing a player from the game through a concussion.
So
they are in charge. So the independent doctor is in charge of all concussion assessment. But if a player fails the SCAT 6 and is to be removed from the game, that has to be made in consultation with the club doctor, who knows his patient best. I mean, sometimes a player might struggle to recount the months of the year backwards because they can't do it on a Monday, stone cold sober. So they just want to have that final sign off on a player before a player is removed from concussion.
And players have fudge tests in the past.
They do, absolutely. Can I just say there's a suggestion this week that umpires should be involved in it in the sense of they should be the people that are making the decisions. That's the most ludicrous idea I've ever heard. Have they not got enough on their plate? Have we got enough we've got so much focus on umpiring and getting it right. We can't rely on the umpires to be doing it.
Yeah, fair point, Macca. So we know at the moment the AFL is receiving information from clubs. So it's Brisbane, Adelaide and Carlton at the moment with the three players who went down for concussion assessments at the weekend. This for me is the league saying to the clubs, you're on notice. So I feel, for me, this is a step up from the clubs because we saw the Jeremy Cameron and Rowan Marshall. There was no please explain there, was there? So here we have please explains. I feel like it is a strong statement from the clubs. We want the thorough explanations. And I feel like the one, as Robbo said earlier on 360, it was a great discussion. The Mackay one is the most troubling. He clearly looks stunned. Now, yes, he wasn't concussed. He'd passed the test, right? He wasn't concussed, but there were enough concussion signs there for him to be taken from the field immediately. This is what we hear what the AFL says from the spotters in the arc. If you see this, they should come from the ground. He is dazed. He is dazed there. That is enough. Okay, so Carlton say, well, he wasn't concussed. No, but from that vision, it looks like he could be. So that is where you pull him from the field, and which goes to your original point, Macca. That is the power the doctors should have.
So under this theory, the ARC would say, right, whistle to the umpire, stop the game. There's a player we want to assess. And just to be clear, an HIA is not a 15-minute scat test. It is a 2-minute test on the boundary. It would be like a blood rule. You wouldn't lose an interchange rotation. Just on the Jordan Dawson one quickly. I've spoken to some people around Adelaide today, and they are adamant that the initial assessment by the Crows doctor after the incident with Nate Caddy, there was absolutely no concussive signs whatsoever. So that's the first one there where he collided with Nate Caddy. He was cleared to go back on the ground. The doctor was happy for him to continue. It's a very cautious, experienced and conservative doctor at the Crows. There was another knock later in the game where he failed the concussion test and was ruled out of the game, but nothing to see there in the first incident.
You see Jake Stringer actually pushes him into the hip of Nate Caddy.